Okay, this is where we are going to weave between the different sections and do the interlocking weave. So I'm just gonna start a new row and weave backward towards my other section, and I'm gonna stop and start at the same string. So I'm kind of ignoring all the other strings and I'm just going back and forth on these four. Now the next row, I'm gonna separate my sections and I'm gonna weave to where I left off last time. And then I'm just gonna go back the other direction. So I'm always starting and stopping on the same string each time I weave through. So you might have to separate the rows while you do this. Okay, so I am done with all of my weaving and I am going to add a stick. You don't have to add a stick to your weaving if you don't want to, but I'm going to go ahead and add a stick so that way I can hang my weaving on the wall or a hook or something like that. I'm going to weave in my stick just like I would a normal weft string, and I'm going to go over, under, all the way across, and then I'm going to get rid of all of my strings hanging on the right and the left side of my weaving. I'm going to do that by tucking all those strings back in. So I'll show you in a second how we'll do that. So we're going to separate the sections. You can cut them off right next to the edge, but I wouldn't do that. I would separate the sections like this, and I would weave back 2 or 3 rows and then trim them there. That way they don't unravel if they're too close to the edge. So once you're done, you can cut there. Make sure you're not cutting anything you're not supposed to, and then move your threads back where they're supposed to be. I'm going to continue this with all of my threads. I'm just going to weave back 2 or 3 rows and then trim. We are ready to cut our weaving off of the loom. So we will turn our weaving over and cut the strings in the middle on the back side. Then we are going to take off any tape that has our strings taped down. We are going to flip it back over, and then you're going to tie 2 at a time. We're going to tie it once loosely so that way you don't scrunch up your weaving, and then the second time you tie it into a double knot, that's where you're going to pull firmly so that it doesn't unravel. Now I'm going to take turns. I'm going to do 2 at the top, and now I'm going to the bottom, and I'm lifting up my raya. If you have raya, push it out of the way, and then you can tie your 2 strings. So I'm tying 2 on one side, and then I'm moving to the bottom, tying 2 on the other side. You can do this all the way across until you're completely finished and all of your strings are off of your loom. After you have your weaving off of the loom, you're going to take off any tape or string and turn in your loom. My weaving is completely finished. I am now going to hide the tassels at the top on the back. So decide which side is the back. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go through the back of your weaving, and you're going to take 2 of your warp strings or your tassels and put them through the eye of the needle, and you're going to pull them through on the back. You're hiding them so you don't see them. I'm going to go do this throughout my whole weaving. So I'm going to put the needle in, put the tassels or the warp strings into the eye of the needle, and then I'm going to pull them through the back so I don't see them on the front. This makes your weaving look clean and professional, and it looks really nice hanging on the wall if you don't see it on the front. Once you're done hiding all of your strings on the back, you can trim the strings a little bit shorter, make them all even. Don't cut too close to the knot because it might unravel. Then you're going to grab some tape, a small piece of tape, and put your name on the back so that way we know whose is whose. Use a pen or a skinny fine point Sharpie to write your name, and then we are going to add a string on top of our weaving. I'm adding multiple strings. You could just add 1. I'm going to do multiple, and I'm just going to tie it on either side of the stick so that way I can hang it. If you're not making yours a wall hanging, you can just skip this step and go ahead and take a photo of your work and turn in your project and add your photo and your artist statement to your portfolio, and then you're all finished. Throw away any extra string that you don't need and put all your supplies away.